Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hodcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I'm certainly not. I'm concerned. It turns out that my home country of Britain now has, again, for the first time in like 700 years, blasphemy laws. But this is worse this time, because it's not Christian blasphemy laws, which could be bad, of course. You could run foul of the Inquisition and so on and so on. But when it comes to Islamic blasphemy laws, that is a no-tolerance affair. They have zero tolerance for you, for me, for anyone. The same sort of tolerance that they demand from everyone. The same intolerance that they show everywhere. We are tolerating the intolerant in the West and in Britain in general. Now, this is Batley, which is an area of England in which there have been many grooming gangs targeting girls from my community, but we tolerate that, you see. The state tolerates that. You don't get any angry groups. And that's causing real harm to real people. So this mob formed. The teacher, who was British, native British, has been fired. He's in hiding. He needs protection now, round-the-clock protection, because as a part of his religious education class on just one day, it wasn't exclusively about their prophet, but during the class, a depiction of the Prophet Muhammad was shown. This got out. I don't know how it got out. And then the mobs formed, and now the teachers had to run for his life. And this is shown as... Look, this could be anywhere. It could be the Middle East. You know when angry flash mobs form, and then the flash mobs go and target people because they've insulted. Think about the small Christian minorities who live in terror, utter terror in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and so on and so on. Frightening, isn't it? So this flash mob has formed, and we've got this clip to watch from them. And we'll get into that now, but if you haven't yet, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell and share this video around. That'll help me stay competitive with mainstream media channels who won't necessarily show you what is happening in the world that I think people really need to see. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's listen to what these guys have to say.
Object to condemn the use of all and any religious offensive material in schools, as has happened at this Batley Grammar School this week. In this particular instance, the use of these materials was done in a deliberate, threatening and provocative manner, leaving the children concerned for their safety and well-being. The teachers have breached the position of trust and...
Let me tell you something, because I had religious education like a lot of people have, right? The children wouldn't be concerned for their safety over the teacher showing the cartoon or the depiction. What they would be concerned for their safety over is your response, right? They'd be scared. And what does that show you? That there are groups of people where there are communities where even the children will get terrified when they see someone with a depiction of the prophet, right? It's not the depiction themselves or the teacher they're frightened of. It's your response, sir. What does that tell you about the way you are perceived in society? That people are terrified of you. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like that. Now, I'm not saying that people should go out of their way to show depictions of the prophet. I wouldn't say like, oh, do you know what, I'm going to wake up today and do this. But as a religious education class where they show depictions of a variety of religious leaders and prophets, a lot of people don't realise there have been plenty of prophets. Muhammad was just the last one, the final messenger. There have been many. Jesus was a prophet. Okay? Jacob was a prophet, and so on and so on. Moses was a prophet. It's just Muhammad was the last one, the final messenger. It's strange because all of these get depicted, but it's just that one that you guys get really angry with.
Failed their duty of safeguarding, and this issue must be addressed as a matter of urgency. We do not accept that the school has taken this issue seriously, given that it has taken them 4 days to merely suspend only one of the teachers involved. The teachers concerned must be independently investigated with senior stakeholders.
Independently investigated. He wants it to be on the statute, the British statute, where you can be investigated independently for daring to show a depiction of their prophet. That's blasphemy laws, right? For too long in the modern world, the only people you will find who will tell you something straight are conservatives. Most of the people will... what you have to do is you have to watch what they're saying and then read in between the lines. So when he says things like independent investigations, what he means essentially is the police, the state, the law. And that would be blasphemy laws. We don't have them here. There are countries where they, none of this stuff is tolerated, and I was speaking to the guy who's the spokesman. You seem like a guy who wants things wholly your own way, religiously. I'm saying there are places you can go where you can live in that extreme environment. You would love it there, but Britain traditionally hasn't been one of those places. So,
from the Muslim community being involved, the incident from Monday 22nd of March must also be investigated from a criminal perspective.
Yes.
Given that it...
And there you go, a criminal perspective, and everyone nods. It is a crime to depict their prophet. These are the same people that tried to stop investigations into grooming gangs in the Batley area and many others. But now all of a sudden it's, we demand his head. The teacher's head. That's what they want. The future of Britain, and I mean Britain circa 2100, 2200, is going to be a dark place. It's going to be war-torn. And I don't think it's just Britain. I think it's a lot of places, because we are tolerating people who have zero tolerance for us. They have zero tolerance for us. Really.
It was a clear attempt to stir up religious hatred. We also use this opportunity to call upon the entire British Muslim community to review the materials being taught in their children's schools.
To call on the entire community. That's the strong point with the Muslim community, because they can do that. They act as like one entity, especially when things like this happen. It's like a spark that flies, just bursts through the whole group. White people never do that, right? Never do that. And I think that's a sign of civilization, that you can identify when an incident has occurred and say that is an isolated case. When things like this happen and then boom, all of a sudden everyone in the country that's a part of the community just rushes out, that's bad news. That's bad news. They want a criminal investigation. What law did he break? If he didn't break any on the statute, they'll add one. Blasphemy laws in Britain, 2100. Terrible.
Whether they relate to offensive content or inappropriate relationship and sex education.
So they want changes to sex education and, talking about inappropriate relationships. Batley is the grooming hotspot of Britain. They're talking about inappropriate relationships, really.
If you have concern for the iman of your children, This is all we have to say as protesters here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frightening, isn't it? What do you think they'd do to him if he was there now? What do you think they'd do? What do you think they'd do to the man? I don't know what to say, man. It's it could be in the background there. You can see that traditional British Edwardian style building, but in the front ground, that could be Bosnia, Iraq, Iran, Syria, you know, Libya, Tunisia. But it's that in front of British Edwardian style buildings. Man, you know, it's just, you feel like a criminal for even saying things these days. You feel like you're not allowed to state the obvious. There's a giant elephant in the room and you feel like you can't even mention it, really. All it takes is a bit of foresight, really it does, in my opinion. It just takes a bit of foresight, but... And the left are nowhere to be seen. These are leftists who talk about freedom and everything, anything goes. You know, the people who love to depict Jesus in the most ridiculous and cruel ways. They're nowhere to be seen. You'd think that they'd be standing up for the teacher, wouldn't you? Especially seeing as most teachers are markedly leftist, but no. They're nowhere to be seen because of the optics with the totem pole of intersectionality. You know, these guys here are pretty far up there on the totem pole, so their logic dictates that they can't criticise them for anything they do. And the teacher is, of course, right at the bottom. Anyway, look, I'm going to let you guys go. I know it was quite a thought-provoking video, but I just wanted to show you that there are calls for blasphemy laws to return to Britain officially. Unofficially, of course, they already exist, providing that you criticise one person or religious figure in particular, and we know who that is. If it was Jesus or anyone, a Christian or any other god from any of the countless pantheons that have existed throughout human history, no one would bat an eyelid, right? You're allowed to do that. It's just, we've got people who are more equal than others. It's equal among equal. That old saying, you know, where we've got equality, but there are people who are more equal than others. And I think that's what the case is here. It's like you've got a license to do whatever you like, really. And you use your immutable characteristics as a defense mechanism, a shell, to wrap around you, and also as a spear to thrust at your enemies, man. That must be a powerful feeling. It really must. Must be a powerful feeling. Anyway, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share this video around, and let me know what you think down below. But I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.